What can heal Aquarius' fear of judgment? 10 keys. If you are an Aquarius, you already know what it feels like to walk through the world carrying a mind that works differently from most. You see patterns where others see chaos. You ask questions that make people uncomfortable. You dream in colors that do not have names yet. And for most of your life, that difference has been both your greatest gift and your deepest source of pain. Because the world does not always welcome what it does not understand. The fear of judgment is not something you talk about often. You present a face of confidence, of independence, of someone who does not care what others think. But underneath that armor, the fear lives. It whispers in the moments before you share an idea, in the silence after you speak your truth, in the hesitation before you show the world who you really are. These 10 keys are not about eliminating that fear entirely, because some degree of awareness about how others perceive us is natural and even healthy. These keys are about healing the wound that makes judgment feel like annihilation, about reaching the place where other people's opinions no longer have the power to silence you. Key 1. The first key to healing your fear of judgment is understanding where it actually began. Most Aquarius souls can trace this fear back to a specific season of their lives, usually early, when they first realized that being different came with consequences. Maybe you were the child who asked the teacher a question that disrupted the entire lesson plan. Maybe you were the teenager whose interests seemed strange to your peers, who preferred reading about the universe while everyone else was focused on fitting in. Maybe you were the young adult who chose a path that made your family shake their heads in confusion or concern. Whatever the specifics, the message was clear. Being yourself invites criticism, and criticism hurts. Over time, that message embedded itself deep in your nervous system. It became an automatic response, a flinch before you even felt the blow. But here is the healing truth that this first key offers. Those early experiences happened when you did not have the resources to protect yourself. You were young, dependent, vulnerable. The judgment you received felt like a threat to your survival because, in many ways, it was. A child who is rejected by their community is in genuine danger. But you are not that child anymore, Aquarius. You are an adult with decades of experience, with the ability to choose your environment, with the strength to walk away from people who cannot see your value. The fear you carry belongs to a version of you that needed it for protection. But that version has grown, and the protection is no longer necessary. Acknowledging this does not make the fear disappear instantly, but it begins to loosen its grip. It moves the fear from the category of present danger to the category of old memory, and old memories, while powerful, do not have to dictate your future. Key 2. The second key is the practice of separating your identity from other people's perceptions. This is perhaps the most fundamental shift you can make, and it requires a level of mental discipline that not everyone is willing to develop. But you are capable of it, Aquarius, because your mind is one of the most powerful tools in the entire zodiac. Here is the truth that sets you free. What someone thinks about you is not information about you. It is information about them. Their judgments reveal their values, their fears, their limitations, their worldview. When someone criticizes your choices, they are telling you what they would be afraid to choose. When someone mocks your ideas, they are telling you what their imagination cannot reach. When someone dismisses your feelings, they are telling you about their own emotional capacity, not yours. This is not a defense mechanism or a way to avoid accountability. It is simply accurate. You cannot control how anyone perceives you because their perception is filtered through their own experience, their own wounds, their own expectations. And trying to manage that perception is like trying to control the weather. Exhausting, futile, and ultimately unnecessary. When you truly internalize this truth, something remarkable happens. The weight lifts. The tension releases. You stop performing and start existing. You stop managing impressions and start living authentically. And the people who judge you for that authenticity reveal themselves as people whose approval was never worth having in the first place. Your identity is not a referendum, Aquarius. It is a fact. And facts do not change based on who agrees with them. Key 3. The third key is the decision to stop rehearsing conversations that may never happen. You know exactly what this means because you have spent countless hours doing it. You imagine a scenario where you say something true, something vulnerable, something that matters to you. And then your mind immediately launches into a detailed simulation of all the ways it could go wrong. You rehearse the criticism, the raised eyebrows, the dismissive responses. You prepare your defenses, craft your comebacks, build your case before there is even a trial. This mental rehearsal feels productive, like you are protecting yourself by preparing for the worst. But in reality, it is one of the most draining habits you have. It consumes enormous amounts of creative energy that could be used for something beautiful. It trains your nervous system to expect hostility, even when none is coming. And it keeps you trapped in a cycle of anxiety that feeds the very fear you are trying to overcome. The healing move is simple but not easy. Notice when you are rehearsing, and gently bring yourself back to the present moment. Ask yourself, is this conversation actually happening right now? Is this criticism actually being directed at me in this moment? The answer almost always is no. You are fighting ghosts, Aquarius, shadows of judgment that exist only in your imagination. And while those shadows feel real, they are not. The present moment, the one you are actually living in, is usually far less hostile than the one you are rehearsing in your mind. Learning to stay in the present is one of the most healing things you can do for your fear of judgment, because it forces you to deal with reality rather than projections. Key 4. The fourth key is the willingness to be judged and survive it. This may sound counterintuitive, but hear it fully. The deepest healing does not come from avoiding judgment altogether. It comes from walking through it and discovering that you are still standing on the other side. Because the fear of judgment is ultimately a fear of annihilation, the belief that if people see who you truly are and disapprove, something fundamental inside you will be destroyed. But that belief is a lie. It is a lie told to you by the part of your brain that evolved to keep you safe in a world where social rejection meant physical danger. In the modern world, judgment stings. It is uncomfortable. It can make your face flush and your heart race and your mind spiral. But it does not destroy you. Nothing about someone else's opinion has the power to unmake who you are. And the only way to prove that to yourself is to let it happen. Share your truth. Make your unconventional choice. Wear the thing, say the thing, do the thing that you have been holding back because you were afraid of what people might think. And when the judgment comes, because some of it will, stand in it. Feel it. Let it wash over you like a wave. And then notice, you are still here. You are still breathing. You are still you. Every time you survive judgment, your fear of it decreases. Every exposure teaches your nervous system that this is not the threat it once was. This is not about seeking judgment or provoking it. It is about stopping the avoidance, because avoidance is what keeps the fear alive and growing. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Key 5. The fifth key is the recognition that the people whose judgment you fear most are often the people who are most afraid themselves. This is a truth that once you see it, you cannot unsee. The harshest critics, the most vocal judges, the people who seem to have an opinion about everything you do. They are almost always operating from a place of deep fear. They judge you because judging others is how they manage their own insecurity. They criticize your choices because your willingness to be different exposes their own lack of courage. They mock your dreams because your dreaming reminds them of the dreams they abandoned long ago. This is not an excuse for their behavior, and it is not a reason to tolerate cruelty. But it is a lens that changes how judgment lands on you. When you understand that the person judging you is often speaking from their own pain rather than from a place of authority, their words lose their power. They become what they always were. The projections of someone who has not yet done the work you are doing. Someone who has not yet found the courage to live authentically. Someone who is, in their own way, suffering. This does not mean you need to feel sorry for your critics or try to heal them. That is not your job. But it does mean you can stop treating their opinions as verdicts and start seeing them as symptoms. Symptoms of a culture that rewards conformity and punishes originality. Symptoms of individuals who have not yet learned that there is enough room in this world for everyone to be exactly who they are. Key 6. The sixth key is the practice of building a relationship with your own approval. For most of your life, Aquarius, you have been looking outward for the green light. You wanted anyone to look at you and say you are doing it right. You are on the right path. You are worthy of love and belonging and success. And when that approval came, it felt like oxygen after being underwater. But when it did not come, or worse, when disapproval came instead, it felt like confirmation of your deepest fear. That you are fundamentally flawed. But what if the approval you have been seeking has been available to you all along, from the one source that actually matters? What if the person whose opinion carries the most weight is the one staring back at you in the mirror every morning? Building a relationship with your own approval is a practice, not an event. It means checking in with yourself before you check in with others. It means asking, am I proud of this choice? Does this align with my values? Am I being honest with myself? And when the answer is yes, letting that be enough. It means celebrating your own wins, even the small ones, without needing someone else to validate them. It means forgiving your own mistakes with the same compassion you would offer a dear friend. Over time, this practice creates an internal foundation that external judgment cannot shake. You become rooted in your own knowing, anchored in your own truth, sustained by your own love. And from that place, the opinions of others become interesting information rather than threatening assessments. Key 7. The seventh key is the willingness to stop hiding your softer side. Aquarius is often described as the sign of intellect, innovation, and detachment. And while you certainly possess those qualities, there is another side of you that rarely gets mentioned. Your tenderness. You feel things deeply, Aquarius, more deeply than most people will ever know. You cry at beauty. You ache for justice. You carry the sorrows of people you have never met, because your empathy extends far beyond your immediate circle. But this tenderness has often been the thing you hide most carefully, because showing it feels like an invitation for judgment. You worry that people will see your softness as weakness. You fear that if they see your tears, your vulnerability, your raw and unguarded heart, they will use it against you. So you build walls. You intellectualize your emotions. You present a cool, composed exterior while a storm of feeling rages inside. The seventh key asks you to lower those walls, carefully and selectively, but deliberately. Not for everyone, because not everyone has earned access to your inner world. But for the people you trust, for the moments that call for authenticity, for the situations where your tenderness could be a gift rather than a liability. When you allow yourself to be soft without shame, you discover something liberating. Your vulnerability does not invite judgment nearly as much as you feared. In fact, it often invites connection, understanding, and a depth of relationship that your walls could never allow. Your tenderness is not your weakness, Aquarius. It is your humanity, and it is more powerful than any shield you could build. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. Key 8. The eighth key is the understanding that judgment is temporary, but regret is permanent. Consider the choices you have not made because you were afraid of what people would think. The words you did not speak. The creative projects you did not pursue. The relationships you did not explore. The adventures you did not take. Each of those unlived moments carries a weight that far exceeds the weight of any judgment you might have received. Because judgment fades, Aquarius. People move on. They forget what you wore, what you said, what you did. Their attention shifts to the next thing, the next person, the next controversy. But regret does not fade. It settles into your bones and stays there, growing heavier with each passing year. It whispers what if in the quiet hours of the night, and those whispers are far more painful than any criticism you might have faced. This is not a lecture about seizing the day or living without regret, because those are easy things to say and difficult things to do. This is simply a reminder that the fear of judgment is borrowing worry from a future that almost never materializes as badly as you imagine, while the cost of that fear, the unlived life, the unexpressed truth, the unshared love, is very, very real. When you weigh the temporary discomfort of being judged against the permanent ache of knowing you held yourself back, the math becomes clear. The risk of judgment is always worth taking. Always. Key 9. The ninth key is the practice of surrounding yourself with people who make judgment feel irrelevant. Not everyone in your life responds to your authenticity with criticism or confusion. Some people, the rare and beautiful ones, respond with delight. They celebrate your quirks. They lean in when you share your unconventional ideas. They love you not despite your differences but because of them. These people are your antidote to the fear of judgment. They are proof that being yourself does not automatically lead to rejection. They are living evidence that the world is big enough for someone like you. But here is the thing. You have to be intentional about keeping these people close. It is easy, especially for an Aquarius, to drift, to get caught up in the demands of daily life, and lose track of the connections that sustain you. To spend so much time managing relationships with people who do not understand you that you neglect the relationships with people who do. Make those nourishing connections a priority. Reach out to the friend who makes you feel safe being yourself. Spend time with the person who asks about your dreams without raising an eyebrow. Build your life around the people who make judgment feel like a foreign concept, something that belongs to a different world than the one you share with them. When your primary relationships are sources of acceptance rather than evaluation, the fear of judgment from the broader world loses much of its power. It becomes background noise rather than the dominant soundtrack of your life. Key 10. The 10th and final key is the deepest one of all. The recognition that your fear of judgment has been protecting something precious, and that something is ready to be set free. Think about it. What would you do if you were not afraid of being judged? What would you say? What would you create? What dreams would you pursue? What truths would you speak? The answers to those questions are not hypothetical, Aquarius. They are the blueprint of your most authentic life. They are the map of the person you have always been underneath the fear, the person who has been waiting patiently and persistently for you to finally let them breathe. Your fear of judgment was never random or meaningless. It arose to protect the most tender, most original, most powerful parts of who you are. It wrapped itself around your uniqueness like armor, keeping it safe from a world that did not always appreciate what it could not categorize. And for a long time that armor served you well. But armor that protects also restricts. It keeps threats out, but it also keeps your light in. And your light, Aquarius, your brilliant, unconventional, world-changing light, was never meant to be contained. It was meant to illuminate. So the 10th key is not really about healing a fear. It is about honoring a transition. The transition from a life where safety was the priority to a life where expression is the purpose. The transition from hiding to shining, from whispering to speaking, from hoping to being. The fear will not disappear overnight. It may never disappear entirely, but it can become smaller than your courage, quieter than your conviction, less powerful than your desire to live fully and freely as the extraordinary being you have always been. That is the healing, Aquarius. Not the absence of fear, but the presence of something greater. You have two options after this video: close it and hope things shift, or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.